right, ladies and gentlemen, the first panel is TV still relevant for advertisers. I'm going to be joined on stage by Crasto, founder, RedFox Media Corp. He's going to be moderating the session. A big round of applause for Mr. Crasto. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to see him. And he's going to be joined on stage by Sonal Jadhav, managing partner, West Havas Media India. Yatnesh Pandey, VP Marketing, Greenply Industries Limited. Rabindra Narayan, founder, MD and President, GTC Network. Kailasnath Adhikari, MD, Sri Adhikari Brothers. Ladies and gentlemen, it can't get bigger than this when it comes to the TV advertising industry. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us over here. Thank you so much. And let me tell you all a bit of a heads up. Mr. Crasto brings the most humorous sessions moving forward every time he comes on stage. He shares insights, but he also brings his humor to the table. So gear up for that. The timer is ready. All of them are here. Thank you so much. Can I request all of you to clap for them, please? They've taken time from their busy schedules to be with us over here. Bahut shukriya. And Mr. Crasto, over to you.
Thank you, all of you. I think a special clap to the esteemed panel. Please, can you clap louder? A lot of energies. So thank you everyone to being in this interesting panel, and I'm the first panel, so the pressure is on me. So I don't want to become like Abhishek Sharma here. I want to keep the momentum like Virat Kohli. So let's talk, let's go back to 1990s, all of you. Okay. We all grew up in this world. Maybe there are a few of them must have not grew up. Okay. We had just one alphabet or one number, which was called 1. We had one TV, one remote, and one prime time. And if you miss the show, you actually miss it. No rewind, no skip, no second screen. Now fast forward today, 2020, post-COVID, what we have now is less is more. More screens, more apps, and more scrolling. So, the attention spans have gone shorter. It's become shorter than the ad bumper. But yet, when cricket match happens, we all gather at the same time, same screen. And let's not call that a nostalgia. That's called dominance. So today, let's not debate about TV versus digital. Let's debate in this fragmented world, who really owns collective attention? So that's where the story will all start off, because the beginning is, how does this attention capture and where does it head? So, Sonal, this is the first question for you. You've been in the media business for long, and you understand media spaces, worked with large brands like Unilever, etc. Tell me, are brands cutting TV or just shifting narratives towards digital?
Go again. What was the last one?
So I'm saying, are brands really cutting TV or shifting narratives towards digital? So when you meet your brands, are they talking more digital, TV hota nahi hai, TV mein kuch hota nahi hai? Is it something which you have witnessed in the last so many years with so many brands, multiple brands which you managed while you were in Levers with Fulcrum, etc.?
So yes, I think digital is like the new toy in the room, right? Okay. Digital is like the new toy in the room. Everyone wants to play with it, wants to know what's happening there, what else can I learn, because everyone's on the learning curve there. But does that mean the importance of TV has gone down? Not really. It holds its ground, but yes, there's a new toy in the room. So yes, that's true. The screens are morphing. We all know that. So yes, that's the reality.
So, but does the brand comes back and say, when you put your plans, okay? I'm putting a very sticky question here. Is that does the brand guys come says that TV kya dikha raha hai yaar? Digital plan kya hai? Is there something which they started saying this, and they often say this?
Not really. Those kind of questions really pop up depending on the kind of brand and the conversations that we are having. Nobody questions the stature of TV. honestly. It's really the fact that what else are we going to do? And that's where it comes from. TV is holding its ground and it will continue to. But the fact is there is an additional screen, like you rightly said, in the room for the consumer. Are we attracting and talking to each screen is really the question that's moving to. But yes, TV is at an inflection point. And if we don't course correct some conversations, then yes, that narrative could go away from us. So that is the reality.
So Yatnesh, that puts me to a question. You are the guy who actually cuts the check for most of the brands for Greenply. So I have to ask you this question that you have 20 crores to spend for the next 3 months. Tell me honestly, how much do you allocate for TV? So that, Sonal feels good about it.
Okay, so you says now we are the guy who cuts the check. So the guy who cuts the check, he has to ensure the money has to be in the bank. So as a marketer, we are more responsible now for the growth and the responsibility toward how the revenues are coming back. Okay. So we have to be the more effective in terms of whatever the planning which we are going to do. Now, before answering your question, how much is my allocation of the 20 CR thing? I think we brand marketer does not think like the way the agency thinks it. For us, it's not just the displaying our commercial. It is to garnering that attention so that we should able to make some kind of the decision toward the end of the funnel. So for us, it's not just the getting the reach. For us, it's how we can get the attention. And this task become more tougher in the category like us, which is the more low involvement. So it's easier for the guy, for the cola, or the any phone company to get the attention from the audience. It's more tougher for us like those who are into the home interior category, where the involvement is low. It's not the ticket size is low. The average ticket size for home interiors is higher than what the Maruti car average ticket size is selling. But the involvement is low here. So that's the challenge is there. Now coming to your question about the 20 CR budget. So our plan is the more onto the funnel planning. How we can get the top awareness is very tough to chase the audience and those who are into the in-market audience for the home interiors, because the signals are very, very weak. So we try to use the TV as for the top funnel because of its frame and the fame, TV always garner the good awareness and reach to us. And whatever the CPM buy and all we do into digital, I think TV always has spillover audience, always have a non-user audience, give us the much better reach than the digital medium. But toward the mid and the bottom funnel, we try to mix the medium. It's not only the digital, but we try to mix the retail medium also. Because in our category, the in-market influence also works very, very well. So if I have to give the allocation, so maybe the 1/3 toward the top funnel, where is purely the TV or some of the digital medium which give me the reach and to my audience, and toward the mid and bottom funnel, we will try to mix the media on this thing. And the allocation will be the 1/3 kind of thing. That's the thumb rule which we trying to use it, but rules are always get mended based on to the campaign objective, based on to the seasonality, contextuality. Accordingly, we keep moving it.
So, sir, Yatnesh says 1/3 of the spends are coming on TV. I want to ask you, are we today in a scenario where TV are launching or brands are launching on TV for the first time? Are those days still there, or they are just skipping TV and launching first on digital? Do you see that happening often? What is your experience as a broadcaster?
See, as a broadcaster, I'll tell you, we have to understand the basic thing first. There's a debate whether the TV is dead or people are shifting to digital. These are only the medium of delivery. The screen remains, the screen changes its form. Sometimes it's on my mobile, sometimes it's on my laptop, sometimes it's in the living room TV. The key is, as a broadcaster, you have to be available wherever the eyeballs are. I have to be available wherever my audience is. So the bifurcation between TV, digital, and all this has to end. It has to be content first. Okay. Wherever the viewer is, the content must reach and to his availability. Now, I'll give you an example. There's a Lala's grocery shop in the Mohalla, and he's cribbing that his sales are dipping, people are not visiting his store, and it's not the same anymore. He doesn't realize there is another grocery store opened down the line, which is doing home delivery free, which means when I want the stuff, I get it at my home. I don't have to go out. Similar is TV. I don't have to watch when the channel wants to show me what it wants to show. I want to watch when I want to watch. So I must have a combination, whereas a linear TV, I'm showing as per my intelligence that this time I will show this. But at the same time, I have to realize the viewer, all of my viewers are not available at that time. They want it at their time, so I have to be available on a platform where my viewer will find me. All my brands, sponsorships, and all this need to be integrated in such a way where I am selling content, not the screen. Screen may change. The content has to be available and has to be the same for my viewer when he wants it. As long as I remember that, I'll be okay. Otherwise, we'll forever be debating whether TV is dying, this or dying. Second thing is the measurement system. I think India is the only country where the measurement system is a bit flawed. We only measure linear TV. We don't measure anything else. When we launched GTC, we made it a point that all our beams, wherever they're going on YouTube, they're going on Neo TV, Yup TV, Distro TV, or my Tata Play, Airtel, or my cable, will carry the bark watermark. No matter on which TV, from which platform, you plug in and watch it. I'll get those ratings, I will get those viewers. But even now, those numbers are symbolic or representative. Once the digital mapping begins, we have to understand every viewer which is on digital platforms or connected TV platforms. They are 100% addressable. I will know who is watching me when. We've been requesting big platforms like Jio and all these to release their own ratings, at least on their platform, who's watching what. But somehow or the other, we are in a mindset, it's a legacy base. जैसे चल रहा है, चलने दो यार, क्यों छेड़ना? All my money, everything is based on bark. Bark is only measuring linear TV. We talk of digital, all digital spend are speculative. YouTube gives me a number, or Jio gives me a number, these many crore people are watching. I have to believe it. There is no third-party monitoring, there is no integrated monitoring. We are still in a world of television rating point, TRP. We have to get into a world which is content rating point, CRP. Who watched this content, when, where? That should be measurable, and then you will have a comprehensive media plan and a plan that will actually work, will be effective.
So Kailash, what sir is saying, addressability, sir is saying content, sir is saying ratings. So I want to ask you a question. Is brand so addicted to dashboards? Okay. Is measurements creating a false sense of control? What is happening? I mean, you have seen world from all perspectives, from content perspective, from running a channel perspective, you have a legacy in the family. How does that work? How do you address this kind of complicated, nuances of situations?
You know, Ron, I'll tell you something. Since you opened this debate very beautifully, if I, taking us back to the 90s, which was the starting point or the threshold of television in this country. One channel, one household, one remote, and no rewind step back forward. And I think at that time, the kind of television that grew and the kind of, and Sonal will agree, everyone will agree here, the kind of revenue that per 10 seconds that used to be generated at that particular point of time is completely diametrically opposite than today. What happens in 1995 में आपको ₹1 की चाय इतने की मिलती थी, cut to inflation you add आज इतने की मिलती है. इस केस में रिवर्स है. वो inflation reverse चला गया. वो टाइम पे वो ₹1,00,000 per 10 seconds था, and today it has come down to 2,000 or 5,000 rupees per 10 seconds. So this is something reversed. But more than Ron, the relevance or the irrelevance of television for brands, for television, I believe it's the plethora of opportunities. At that point of time, as you mentioned, one platform, so naturally anyone wanted to build something, television was go-to. You cannot just call it relevance. It was a kind of a monopolistic situation also. And one must understand that monopoly cannot go forever. You know, even as broadcasters or as television content providers or as television owners, we shouldn't, be so complacent about the fact कि ये तो चलता ही रहेगा. That is not how it works. When television, multiple channels came in, the budgets got fragmented. When YouTube came in 2013-14, when OTTs came in, now we are moving into a space where you could have AI-driven platforms, virtual reality, you have all those kind of new, as sir said, madhyam badalte gaye hai. Content still remains the king. So the advertisers' money or the budget, the pie has not increased, so naturally you will see fragmentation. Today also advertisers, when they see that there is a good ROI or there is a good return on investment by putting money in television into a certain piece of content or a certain non-fiction kind of a slate, whether it's cricket or it's Indian Idol or KBC or whatever, etc., 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 the money does get put there, But if you expect as an industry that the same kind of inflow to come on that particular linear stream, one needs to, face the reality that that will not be. And as sir said, then it becomes the onus of the broadcaster who is also available in digital mediums, whether it's through YouTube or connected TV or through Geo TV or Distro TV, etc., Yup TV, to be available there as well. And lastly, yes, that question is that today only Bark runs a $4 billion advertising market in this country, where we have 210 million homes. Cut to 90 million homes are still dark homes in this nation. And not even 1% of the 210 million homes are measured. A handful of homes decides $4 billion where that money is going to be spent. So that is somewhere negatively skewed. And the over-dependence of television on just advertising as a revenue. In the West, advertising is dessert, subscription is main course. The problem in our nation is that advertising is starter, main course and dessert for FTA. How can you rely on just one stream of revenue to match up to 6 heads of expenses? That is the question that we need to ask. If you're building good, formidable content, that content has to earn simultaneously other than just selling your FCT.
Sonal, a question comes in when you meet brands and when you talk to them. Is the planning getting very scientific, mathematical, result-oriented, where they say, okay, let's only focus on impact buys, rest doesn't matter, rest will be taken care of digital. I'm just giving a very, very abstract narrative. Is there kind of conversations you have with your brands on a regular basis where they say, okay, these are the set of GRPs we need to attain, and these are the kind of reach OTS frequencies where we need to look at? Do you see this narrative happening often with your brands, or is it getting too methodical and it's like a well-oiled a conversation which you're having with the brands? Can you just throw light with all of them?
So right now, the narrative is really moving to a fact that, yes, it all boils down to the numbers. I won't take that away. But it's also, like he rightly said, content is king, but the context is queen, right? So how are we building that context, right? There has to be enough reasons. Sports, like Mr. Sinha just mentioned, is the reason that it gives us back onto the platform. There are enough pivots that brings us back to the pivot. Any marketer today is today talking about how do I bring my brand alive, right? In the consumer's mindset, like you rightly said, beyond the numbers. So yes, numbers will play a big role, but hence what? Kyun kar rahe hain? That cultural nuance, that TV plays cannot be taken away, right? That togetherness, that it actually built brands not for years, it's built it over decades. Yeah. Even today, if you ask people which is the brand that you saw in the last 3 years, they'll probably pluck the one which they saw from TV, right? So nobody takes away the importance of TV. The context becomes important on what is the role of the medium in the overall journey of a brand. So that's where it is coming down to. And I'm going back to what you said, yes, the content is important and it continues to be, but that inflection point and that consumer is king, right now. And where are we addressing him? We continue to keep doing the same that has worked some years back. The same will not work now. And we need to realize that. And like I said, it's an inflection point. We choose to change the narrative, or we not. Or we'll continue to have this debate. So we will be at that. Yes, we have that scale that everyone's yearning for. Nobody can take away the kind of scale that TV can bring. Within what? A month, I can do 70 plus. I can cover the nation, right? Nobody can take that away. And it'll resonate back with the consumer. That's more important, right? I've done 70 plus and people have seen it. I do 70 plus on YouTube and people might say, Dekha kya? Dekha kya? Those kind of questions linger on, right? So yes, I think we need to play where we are stronghold is. And the real numbers will continue playing. I can't take that away. That's an Excel sheet. But the narratives, the context, and enough cues to give us to kind of keep going back to TV. And that's where sometimes we do struggle. That's the honest conversation. Like IPL is a great platform for us that we have to go and tell them, listen, either you are on IPL or don't be on TV. That's the kind of narrative that's getting built. Yeah, so I think IPL is a great one example. There are many more, but just wanted to kind of highlight that.
Numbers and big ticket properties is what Sonal mentioned largely. But I want to ask this question from your perspective. When you look at your brand, does digital measure clicks? Does TV build memory, which she mentioned, that how you have to have the recall value? So my confusion is what builds brands? So you would be the right person to answer that because everyone has got their story to tell. But when you look at your observation, where you say digital mein click chahiye or TV mein recall chahiye. So how do you play this card where you marry both the worlds?
So the simple and one-line answer, the brand building it's not just only the advertising, it's the beyond advertising. And ultimately, the customer nowadays does not make the brand image based on to the content. Like we have spoken about the content. There's a plethora of content is there. Now the synthetic content, which is more the AI generated contents are there. So on that, the digital as a platform are able to win the consumers, but they are not able to win the consumer trust in that way. So the brand building is require the integrated approach where you have to reach your audience through your content. You have to make those audience chasing model planning, whether you have to use the TV or whether you have to use the digital medium, whether you have to use the retail media. And same time, you have to give the experience also. For in our category, digital advertising is the good to garner their attention, but here the consumer want the experience also. And the category which is a more material category, how to deliver the experiences itself is a very tough task. So the retail media plays very, very important role. The in-market media plays very, very important role. So sometimes the outdoors also plays a very, very important role for us. So outdoor is not like just the impact builder during the campaign launch for us, but outdoor is more to enrich his consideration, give him the more experiential cues so that whenever he landed to the retail store, he's able to go and then he's able to explore this thing. So the brand building is how it get discovered, how it get described, and how it get differentiated. As a marketer, we have to do all the three things. Then only the brand building happen.
Okay, so it's a combination of all. Interesting. But sir, this is a question I need to ask as a broadcaster for you. Is TV in rural, in terms of penetration, underestimated? Is it become an ignorant lot when we do planning, where they come back and say, नहीं नहीं ये digital में cover हो जाएगा, TV rural में कोई interest नहीं है, invest नहीं करना है. Do you face this because in context of Punjab as a market and Haryana as a market, you know how the entire ecosystem works for your channel business? What is the kind of case studies or some interesting insights which you can share with us?
See, for us, it's a very, very different situation and unique. We cater to the market of Punjabis globally. And even in the state of Punjab, the line between rural, urban, semi-urban is a very thin line when it comes to spending. You will find Thar being used by a farmer to carry his daily stuff. You won't find it anywhere else. So the ability to spend and ability to purchase in that market and that community as a whole across the globe is remarkable. So we are blessed and fortunate that we are catering to that market. I'll give you an example. For example, now we are doing the first ever Punjabi commentary telecast of a cricket league, Legends Cricket League, where Chris Gale and Irfan and all these are playing. The 19 matches across 24 days. I pre-sold everything in UK first. The agency gave me an advance of £200,000 to take the rights to sell that. Now, it's a very funny thing. I mean, you said there are so many cricket matches happening, this happening, that happening. But in a UK market, this sort of a response, because of that particular community, because they know they will watch it, they will be the guys whom to target. There are agencies there which specifically deal with South Asian channels and communities. Then similar is our experience in India now. Whenever we go to an agency and whenever we say we are doing this for Punjab, there is always a different response. It's not what the audience or what the broadcaster will do. The innovation that a broadcaster in regional television, across languages, the ability for a channel to innovate is more in regional than in mainline. Mainline, the formats are fixed, FPCs are fixed, serials are fixed. You can't experiment. Now, I give this example a lot when Swaraj was launching a tractor in Punjab, Haryana, this market. We gave them a solution that we will do a talent hunt. Music is very big in Punjab, so we will do an akhada competition. Akhada is where impromptu gigs happen in Punjab. You sing. You just put up loudspeakers, put a mic and sing. And we integrated it with Swaraj tractors. The stage was set around tractors. We took a bunch of villages and got the audience there, did our auditions, rounds, everything there. The integration was tremendous. The viewership was great. So my belief is that the broadcasters have to also be the brand partners of the clients, advertisers. Unless I can increase their sales by doing their brand promotion, by building those brands, by giving the goodwill of what I'm doing to the brand, I'm a failure. I don't know, what am I doing? I'll produce one serial after the other, like any other serial, and they'll say, buy my FCT or buy my sponsor. I have this reach, so you have to pay me this. But what have I done for the brand? I have done nothing. So we think a bit differently. We create shows, we create solutions for the brands. So as long as you innovate, you don't think that they're my money machine. I have to get better rate, bigger budgets to do better than my competition, how to survive. Once I give off that mindset, when I say that I am also the brand partner of my clients. They do good, they come back to me. They do good, I do good. And it has to be a win-win so that my audience is also getting something which is relevant to them, which is part of their daily life. Unless and until my product, my channel is part of the daily life of my audience, I will not survive anywhere. All those channels, all those products which are not part of your daily life will not survive. Somebody needs religion, you give them Gurbani. Somebody needs sport, you give them Kabaddi, cricket. Somebody needs to be entertained, you give them serials which are rooted in their milieu, which talk about them. Only then you're relevant. Otherwise, you're just another channel in thousands of them.
So Kailash sir is saying a combination of activation, combination of audiences he wants to serve, which could be the AC and global audience, and is a combination of the universe which he's trying to capture, be it Punjabi and non-Punjabi universe. But I need to ask you this question, which I'm dying to ask you, is that your family had a legacy of building, great properties, and they made the 9 p.m. slot so-called the holy place of time. Okay. Now with Gen Z coming in, do you think the 9 p.m. slot will be back? That in our parlance we say the appointment viewing. Do you see that happening? Because you are the Gen Z amongst all of us. I see few white hairs, but that's all right. But the fact remains is that, do you see that happening? Because maybe that DNA is something which people have finished or lost because of multiple screens, multiple issues, multiple problems, etc. Let's not go there. But is 9 p.m. going to be the bedrock of an appointment viewing? Do you see that happening? What is what one can do to reach that level?
Ron, to be very honest, in today's time, if you're talking about Gen Z, technically I'm not a Gen Z looking at my age, but yeah, there are a lot of Gen Zs around me in my work, so I'll comment on that. Appointment viewing for Gen Z is 99% difficult. Let me be very honest and straight and upfront, 99% difficult. If you have a property like a sports, that too, I have seen them a lot watching on the comfortable of their lap of a screen, which is, as you said, rewind forward, rewind forward. If they are at home, yes, appointment viewing for a sporting. And I'm not just talking about cricket. Someone would like FIFA, someone would like any other sport. So in that manner. Appointment viewing back then was also very important, Ron, because of the kind of content resonated with the audience at that particular point of time. Be it crime investigation drama or like I remember my family in that time in 96, 97, on Doordarshan, National or Metro, we started a program at 4 p.m. At that time it was a sponsored slot, which my father, invented. Buying the slot, running your content, and the advertising revenue was yours. In that way, you maintained IPR also of all that content. So that was an experiment done. There is prime time. There is Saturday, Sunday, weekend. There was very thin afternoon slot. But who would watch TV at 4 p.m.? It was not about who would watch TV at 4 p.m., what kind of content you're giving at 4 p.m. So my family at that particular point of time came up with a show called Tea Time Manoranjan. So the title only first resonated कि 4 बजे लोग चाय पीते हैं, and the show was Tea Time Manoranjan, and that was actually the format was India's first stand-up comic show, where Smriti Irani was the anchor of that show. It was her first television show, and 3 seats would be there, and Brijesh Shirji and some other actors were there, and the audience was 20-25 people in the audience and a studio, and that immediately caught the attention. It was difficult to fit the ROs that used to come in, to fit it in 4 or 6 minutes. It used to, 5 to 6 minutes used to be returned every day. So that was a different era of appointment viewing also, because of the kind of public at that particular point of time, the kind of content that they used to like. Cut to today, if you talk about Gen Zs, even if you give them what they like at 4 p.m., it is very difficult for any one of us to make them sit at 4 p.m. at a particular place. They could be traveling in a metro, they could be in a local train, because I've seen that myself. I take a lot of metros and local trains in order to understand the human psychic and the consumer behavior. They are hooked onto the screen, but it is not about that you make them static at a particular position to watch. They'll walk, they'll watch a particular piece of content, and at their own leisure. So there is content that resonates with them, but you have to give them the flexibility of when they want to watch them. Like a beautiful example like I want to give you, which I came across a few days ago, is that, and this is how I actually saw the shift, of certain brands also. A public sector bank of this nation, and not even the top 4, the mid-tier public sector bank, which I have in my life hardly seen them advertise on TV. Hardly. I mean, गलती से कभी कुछ उनका advertise आ गया होगा तो आ गया होगा. They don't believe in advertising. I was walking. I was doing my regular exercise walking, and I was listening to Spotify. And I saw that PSU bank's ad there, which has hardly ever advertised on radio or television. Probably they want Gen Zs to open their bank accounts there. But if that is the kind of shift that a brand has never advertised on television, and cut to straight, they're advertising on a music streaming brand. Wow, this indicates some kind of shift. So we must not remain oblivious to that.
Thanks. I think it's nicely put in. Okay, we are really short of time, but I just want to have a rapid fire here. Okay, I understand. Which will be a yes or no, and then we'll have one line of conclusion from all of you. Okay. So Kailash, this is a rapid fire. Okay, you have to just say yes or no, nothing else. No, you don't need to justify. Is YouTube killing prime time? Yes or no?
Yes, to a certain extent.
You want to explain or leave it?
I think yes, to a certain extent, gives it all.
Sure. Sonal, are influencers replacing prime time?
Are?
Influencers replacing prime time?
No.
Okay. Yatnesh, next question. Is performance marketing overrated?
In my category context, yes.
Okay, thanks. Rabindra sir, will Gen Z ever become heavy TV viewers?
What makes you think they are not? They are heavy TV viewers.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. So just one line of conclusion from all of you in terms of TV, just one line, and then we wrap up this entire session. Kailash.
TV as a medium will never be irrelevant. What the platform owners need to do is to find a good complementary pad up in terms of different delivery mechanisms to the audiences. As an idiot box, that idiot box will always remain that idiot box, but it needs some smart boxes also along with it to pad it up.
All right. So,
see, as far as I can see, 2026 will be the year where broadcasting and advertising will see a sea change. The patterns will change, the content will change, the buying will change, the way you see advertising will change. And mark my words, ads will become interactive, where you'll be able to buy the product once you see the ad. That's going to be the new trend that will come. Already you see barcodes coming on ads, you scan, instantly buy. That's going to be the future. Similarly, content will become interactive, where you're narrating what you want the content to do. And very soon, you will also see 360-degree VR content coming into this country. And that will become a reality, along with advertising, which will also become 360-degree VR.
fair enough. Yatnesh?
As a brand marketer, I see TV is going to be the next 2-3 years. I don't have the visibility beyond that. It's the most efficient reach medium. And it's going to deliver the trust to the brand compared to any other medium. It will deliver the better trust to the brands.
Okay. And finally, Sonal. Yeah.
So I'm just going to elaborate on this, what you just said. I think that's very well put, that TV continues to be a trust medium more than the reach medium. I think that's the way to start looking at it. The fact is, screens are morphing. We know that. We see that. What are we going to do about it is going to be really the next question. Is that perspective only for the next 3 years, or can we take it for the next 30 more? That's going to be the question that we will be holding today. Because like he said, the Gen Z are adaptive, they're moving, and they're like out and about. How are we going to catch their attention is going to be their conversation. So.
Great. I think with that note, we should end this. I hope you guys had a great session here. And if anyone has any questions to ask, you can ask the panel. And in case, then we wrap up this entire interesting session. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please clap it up loudly for all of them? And any questions, if any, please feel free to connect with them later in the networking zone. I'll request all of you to remain on stage. I'm going to be calling up on stage Mr. Franklin Toscano, co-founder and CTO, IWMBuzz Media Network, to kindly come up on stage and give the token of appreciation to all our esteemed guests over here. Big round of applause for Mr. Toscano as well, please, ladies and gentlemen. I request all of you to please kindly come together for a nice group photograph.